The return series was in Australia in 1932-33. It would turn out to be a watershed in the history of the game, as the controversy that surrounded it extended beyond the boundaries of the cricket pitch and into international politics.
Larwood is faster today than ever, and this
in order to stop Bradman from scoring, he had decided to use a technique which had been prevalent in county cricket for some time, namely leg theory, or what the Australians termed bodyline.
Bradman falls a victim when he has only scored 8.
Here's an explanation of the technique provided at the time.
With the score at 22, Woodfull falls to a catch at the wicket by Ames off Bose, and Australia's troubles commence.
But to make this successful, you needed an explosive but accurate bowler who could bowl short and at leg stump consistently. Jardine had one in the form of Harold Larwood.
Larwood sends down his expresses faster than ever, and none of the Australians find a way to deal with them, until Stan McCabe comes in for 4th wicket when 3 wickets have fallen for 82.
Bradman missed the first test through illness, and England won it. Australia squared the series in Melbourne with a characteristic Bradman century. It was the 3rd test in Adelaide where things were really to come to a head.
It was at this point in the game that Woodfull was unfortunately struck on the heart by a ball from Larwood which got up.
The details are complicated, but it began with the Australian captain, Bill Woodfull, being struck in the chest by Larwood. Confusingly, this happened when Larwood wasn't bowling bodyline. What angered the crowd is that Woodfull recovered, and in the very next over, Jardine did set a bodyline field, with Larwood given instructions to bowl to it. Woodfull is then struck by a succession of deliveries until he's out for 22.
He is in great form and bowls to a leg trap to which Bradman falls a victim when he has only scored 8. Here is a good view of the field set for a leg trap. The umpire scrutinises every delivery of Larwood's for a no ball. Australia are not in a very happy position, and with Woodfull out, after pluckily continuing his innings, 4 wickets are down for 51. None of the Australians seem able to deal with the leg theory bowling, with the exception of Ponsford, who is pulling the game round for his side. Oldfield is now his partner, but the English players are very...
Then Bert Oldfield was struck on the head by Larwood. Once more, when not bowling bodyline, but the crowd went berserk, with some of the English players honestly fearing for their lives. Meanwhile, a dazed and bruised Woodfull is on the treatment table saying there's only one team playing cricket out there.
Unfortunate incidents, Larwood is submitted to a good deal of barracking.
The Australian Board of Cricket Control cabled the MCC, accusing them of being unsportsmanlike.
He is not deterred, however, and O'Reilly is another quick victim.
The British government got involved and prepared to call in outstanding loans. Australia was at the time still struggling through the depths of the Depression. They withdrew the accusation and the tour continued.
When Ward is bowled, the Australian innings closes for 222 runs, 119 behind England's total. And England eventually win one of the most sensational cricket matches ever played.
Douglas Jardine was the sort of man that the Australians...
Dennis just charged out onto the ground and picked up the ball, and Rodney said the rest of the team, when they heard this from Dennis and they just saw him go, he said, you've suddenly felt in the room that there was a chance that they could win this game.
We've got the side of Dennis Lilly measuring out his run, warming up, ready to take up the fight, and if West Australia are going to get up at all, it's going to be through the strong right arm of Dennis Lilly, but it's Dennis Lilly to Viv Richards.
The man that he really wanted to get out because of the way he scored his runs, how quickly he scored them, was Viv Richards. So it became a battle between Viv Richards and Dennis Lilly.
How do you do, Viv? Nice to have you in Perth, Dennis said as he let a bouncer go.
He charged in and he bowled. The first ball was a bouncer, the second ball was a bouncer.
There's another bouncer, and that was a much better one, and Dennis Lilly is obviously not going to give up this one without a fight, because there's a test on here, you know, there's a test of supremacy. Dennis Lilly still considered perhaps the best bowler in the world, and many consider Viv Richards the best batsman.
I mean, one of them was a rip snorter, the other three were just bouncers. And Viv, I think, was just a little bit cautious about the one that was a good one. And it was still on its way up when it got to me.
Oops. And that's a big bouncer by Lilly then. Viv Richards going for the hook, but it was much too late as it flew by, and Rod Marsh, as you saw on the screen, had to get up high to take it.
We asked the question, Bobby, will the umpires warn Dennis Lilly for bowling too many bounces on over? 3 out of 3 now?
He'll have to be brave in Perth to do that, I think, Bill.
The thing that I remember the most was the challenge against Viv Richards. I mean, and here's an